Hi, my name's Ben and I'm a legal engineer here at Wordsmith. I'm also the head of privacy. So I'm really excited to show you this new blueprint that we've got for DPIAs, data protection impact assessments. And going to run through today an example of how you can build one. I've got some high level docs that will drop in and it just really just to show you the process and how powerful the tool is and how you can use it. So to get there, you open up Wordsmith and then just click into Blueprints. This is all the blueprints we have here, and you can navigate most easily by just clicking on the DPIA and searching for it. So this opens up the window, and what I quite like about this is it's quite easy to see the template, but also you can drop in your documents and prompt it. And what we're going to do is I've got some documents for a company called Ipsum Labs, which is effectively a identity verification tool for employees. It's just one I made up, and I've brought in their privacy notice, a privacy and security white paper, which details their security position, privacy stance on retention, and things like that. Controller processor data processing agreement. I've also brought in the ICO guidance on DPIAs. So one of the cool things you can do with this is tailor it to European or UK, or if there is jurisdiction specific guidance you want to bring in. Another thing which is worth mentioning is that this is really about bringing as much context and as much information. So in addition to things like call notes that you might have, it's really helpful to bring in extra guidance if you're dealing with specific types of data processing, or you're, say, working with children's personal data. You may want to bring in guidance relating to that, and you can instruct Wordsmith to focus on that and to bring in that context and reference it. So by bringing all these pieces of information together, be it your own context, your own information, the external context and information from guidance, all that being pulled together can help create a really nuanced and detailed DPIA. What doesn't need to be nuanced and detailed is your prompt, because my colleague Emily has put a lot of hard work into building this in the back end, so it will understand what the DPIA is, what it needs to go in there, what needs to be populated, so we can give it a really simple prompt. So let's just add that in. I can type complete the... And I just had some wording I want to add in about the ICO guidance. Okay, and then we hit go. And over the course of my career, I've spent quite a bit of time filling in DPIAs, and for a lot of the routine DPIAs, or ones where perhaps you're doing it as a means of recording the work that you've done within the privacy team, those often are quite time consuming, even short form ones, and fall to the bottom of a to-do list and perhaps don't ever get done, or they get done a long time after you actually wanted to do them. The beauty of this is all the work that you put in gathering information, speaking to product teams, understanding what you're doing, you can bring all that together and put it into this, and it can save you all that write-up time. And in some cases where you might not have all the information written down, you may need to then add the extra context in. But if you have all the information there, you can create a very detailed DPIA. So you can just see how quickly it's gone through. It's now completing it, so it will start populating it over here in a minute. Whilst it's doing that, I'll just talk to how you can edit it, because obviously you may have certain ways that you want to change the tone of voice or add in extra information, or you may do a first draft and then find you have more information to add in, so you can come back to it. And there's two ways. There's if you're preparing to download or export this somewhere, you can go in and just edit these boxes here. But what I think is probably the best way to do that is to ask follow-up questions. So let's say you had a change that you wanted to make to it, saying, I don't know, some new information had come to light. You could ask a follow-up prompt, and it would make those changes in the document. We can see here that it's loaded up. So we'll just take a look through and perhaps pick a couple of examples to look at. So you can see here, it's picked out, perhaps one of the more basic points, it's picked out what the processing is from the documentation provided, what information is being transferred, why it's being transferred, and why a DPIA is likely. And this seems pretty reasonable to me. So we're saying we're processing special category data, there's large scale use of it, and there's a high risk as defined in Article 35 UK GDPR. So we've also got this quote here from the guidance, and I think that contextual nature it helps to build out the profile and the quality of the DPIA. But also, if you need to refer to the guidance or you want to cross-check it or anything like that, it's quite a neat way to just go back to that documentation and read up on it. And then you can add your own changes and whatnot into this document. Just looking at the nature of processing, we've got that it's processed via a web or mobile SDK. They provide photos of government ID, a selfie, and this was a typo that I'd put in to see if it picked up. So it's clearly still referring to liveness instead of likeness. So I wonder if we can just update the doc. Change. And we've got here some of the information about how it's processed in the United States. All of these things that we would expect it to see. I'll skip over these sections here, but when you do your examples, you obviously see the output there. But just to call out that it has the ability to pick out risks and the likelihood, the severity, and to come up with an overall risk score, and then also the mitigations that might be in place. Now, obviously, there's going to be a level of context to your business that this might not have, but that's where you can go in and change it, or where you can update prompts and you can correct those or edit them as to what you want. Now, let's just see if it's done that correction. Okay, cool. So there's two examples there. Yeah. So that is a very mundane example, but it goes to show you can get it to edit the text. If you wanted to add in more information or add in some extra guidance or build on that, you can do that very easily as well. And then, as usual, you can download and you can store that wherever you want to store it. Also, it will always be available in Wordsmith in your chat history. And yeah, I think that's about it. You can share. But yeah, a really great feature, this, just for a simple level, saving you a lot of time, more complex level, bringing together tons of information to complete a DPIA. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. But yeah, I think this is a brilliant use case, and I've got some more to share over the coming weeks.